Like I spoke about with the Power Rangers Astro Megazord review, there are some toys with such a classic look and feel that they stimulate my nostalgia gland in a way that even Transformers can't achieve. Growing up, I had 3 toys that we'll file under toys I had as a kid but have no idea why, or Tiakinabu for ease of remembering later. They were Voltron, a franchise I had no idea about as a child, the advanced Dungeons & Dragons Fortress of Fangs, a toy that I desperately want to own again someday, and some weird big Battle of the Planets knockoff sports car that I couldn't find a picture of, but I've mocked one up here because I love my audience. Despite knowing absolutely nothing about Voltron when I was little, it was still a very treasured possession, so when I saw Lionbot, a Taiwanese Voltron knockoff from the early 80s going cheap, I pounced on it with the ferocity of a lion, sinking its canines into a dentist. Immediately you can see from the packaging this might be a knockoff, but they're taking it seriously. Look at this beautiful embossed gold detail, and it's huge. Wonderful combination system of 5 lions, hard to argue with that. When pulled apart he becomes 5 colourful lions. Again, nothing but the facts here. No batteries required either, but somehow that feels less important. Let's go lion, yes! Yes man, how often does a box get you this fucking excited? And the packaging joy doesn't end there, because you lift away the cover to reveal this stunning display of each individual toy with their own window and designation, like a big beautiful box of chocolates. So many fun things to look at here, all the accessories and the weapons. I have to tell you, when I opened this box, I was just thrust back in time. Memories of He-Man jellies and Chromola foam, and yes! I said to myself, now I'm happy. Now you're probably saying, Gavin, you should look at each lion individually along with their accessories before combining them into Lionbot. And for once, I agree with you. Red and green lion form the arms of Lionbot. Look at their absurdly large heads. I love the sculpt on these, and being mostly die-cast, they're both pretty heavy despite their size. Each has a fairly robust range of motion in the legs, and the hips can swivel too. Finally, point their tails up or down for a delightful time. Press the button on their back and oomph, the head shoots off into space, or more likely the space between your desk and the floor, which makes it a pain to retrieve them. Accessories wise, we have the double pod launcher and the green gun, each capable of firing sharp little plastic missiles into the eye of any child who dares to use it. Each has their own bladed weapon too, so open up their mouths and slot them in. Isn't that incredible? The red lion also has a little laser gun you can place in their shoulder or their hip. Honestly, there's a lot going on here, and we've only done the arms. Blue and yellow are up next, much larger than red and green. Definitely more differences between the two. Both are very weighty and share the same great leg articulation. Their mouths open and their heads can move right up to aid in the transformation. Each has a very cute fold-out tail too. Blue's got a spear missile launcher that can fit into one of the legs. Your choice, I don't mind. And their blue sword, as the instructions calls it, fits into the mouth. Now lift up their chrome ears and you can plop a missile in there which can fire off into the distance. Similarly, lifting the red section on their back reveals another launcher with a pull back and fire mechanism that some have called wildly irresponsible. Yellow. Yellow. There's no doubt about it, they were my favourite back then, and that remains today. The landmine and the cat ring missile attachments can go into any joint, and they look cool as fuck. Sorry to be crass. Yellow gets their sword in their gub. Go on, open up. Lifting the black section on their back reveals a missile launcher. They've got it all. And finally, open up these side flaps on their head reveals another 2 missile ports. It's up to you if this reminds you of an adorable puppy or a cobra ready to strike. Again, I won't judge you. Time for the big boss, Black Lion. Wowee, this is a big boy. Definitely weighty enough to go through the flimsy door of a local swimming pool. I love how beefy they are. Their tiny tail, that look of quiet indignation. Articulation's great here too, but the head movement only really allows him to look down at the ground, like he's missed the school bus to Alton Towers. But accessories wise, you've got his chrome bazooka, which packs a wallop, and this big swine of a sword. And for anyone who's annoyed I haven't mentioned Dark Souls yet, there we go. Shut up. We also get the space age boomerang that fits into the shoulder, an incredible looking thing. And together, all tooled up, I'm so incredibly happy to have these lads back in my life, and despite their age, they look and they feel great. There's a satisfying heft to all of them, and the quality of the builds is impeccable. So it's time for Lionbot, or Voltron, or whatever you want to call it. It's fairly easy to get them into their combined mode, and if you've got nothing better to do, let's do that together now. Get rid of all those accessories, put them in a plastic bag before hiding them in the cistern. Take Black Lion and fold their legs away into their upper arms before lifting the head and opening the mouth wide for a big yawn, revealing the face. Flip open these cute as hell little ears and then straighten out the legs. Red and green don't really take too much work, just fold in the legs and point those tails down 90 degrees. Blue and yellow are similar, just fold in the legs, get those heads tilted to the sky before turning them into a huge pair of thigh highs. Everything plugs in really easily, they're not going anywhere once they're plugged in. Fold out the back wings and there they are. Isn't that... it just makes me so happy. I just love this design, from the chest crest to the fun belt, plus the fact they're made out of 5 colourful lions. Don't forget that. Like most combiner toys from the time, articulation is fairly limited in this mode, but at least there's elbows and to some extent we've got leg movement. Accessories for the big boy are the Space Cutter shield, which is possibly the most 80s space toy accessory of all time, and the King Sword, which gives me big King Poseidon vibes. All assembled, I'm just smitten with it. It's genuinely, rather perhaps sadly, filling a small hole I didn't know was there until I held it in my big daft hands once again. A truly wonderful experience, one that feels more personal than some of the other shite we look at. It's going to be difficult going back to reviewing Transformers, which I'm sure you'll agree are for babies and con men. Okay, goodbye.